So I've got some beef stew action going on here. 2 pounds, inside round, steak cut up into cubes. You can do top sirloin, bottom sirloin, outside round, flank, blade, doesn't really matter. 3 cups of water, 3 russet potatoes. Again, choice of potato doesn't really matter. Cut into small cubes, about yay big. Here's Beefstock. Depends if you're using powdered or liquid. Follow the ingredients to 3 cups. Probably 2 packs or about 2 tablespoons of liquid on average. Salt, tablespoon, teaspoon of pepper, teaspoon of thyme, tablespoon of rosemary, teaspoon of oregano, teaspoon of basil. I will be adding in some pickling spice at some point, not for a long period of time. The longer it's in, the stronger it gets. Potatoes are going to go in the oven. Once they go in, I'm going to start heating up my pan on a medium-high heat to sear the sexy beef. I forgot to mention the oven is set to 300 Fahrenheit and preheated. Add a teaspoon of Spanish paprika, any type of paprika. Smoked is good. Smoked paprika is really good. Pan's been preheating for about 8 minutes now. Heat's about 7 or 8. I'm gonna add in my butter. It's gonna brown up a little bit. Keep it moving, help it melt. Nice and even throughout the pan. Dump in the beef. As much on the bottom as you can if you want to sear it, brown it up nicely. You don't want to do anything, you want to just let it sit for a couple of minutes. Maybe about 2 minutes, just chilling like this. 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to turn the heat up to 8. And yeah, give that about 3 minutes before I move it. I've also cut up 1 large onion, type doesn't matter, 4 stalks of celery. So this is going to be used. I'm going to saute the beef, brown it up, sear it nicely, add a bit of potatoes with the oven, bring the temperature back up, add a little bit more butter, then we're going to add this in, saute them up, and the liquid coming out of the onion and the celery should help me deglaze the pan nicely, get some good flavors into the stew. Okay, so cut about 3 minutes. A nice saute. Turn this everything evenly. Try and get the raw meat facing down. Gonna keep it nice and juicy. This is gonna lock all the flavors in, lock in all the juice. Just give you a nicer flavor. So you're gonna get a lot of caramelization going on the meat. And that's just going to add extra flavor to be extracted from the pan with the onion and the celery that I was talking about earlier. So we'll give this about 4, maybe 5 more minutes. We'll let the other side brown up, and we'll be back. So it's been about 5 more minutes. Haven't really done anything. Added a little bit of garlic powder at this point. Gonna add in fresh garlic too. As it were. About a tablespoon of the garlic powder, not a lot. Saute this, just give it a nice stir. At this point, I'll give it about another 2 more minutes. I'm going to turn the heat down to 5, medium. Give it 2 minutes. That sauce is going to reduce, almost turn into a gravy. It's going really nice and meaty potatoes. So I've taken the potatoes from the water, separated them, just using a spatula. I just basically pulled them out 1 or 2 at a time, pop them in here, and I get the potatoes coated with a nice layer of that fat, so they brown up nice and evenly. And we're just gonna go dump right back on there. Not much butter, teaspoon. Switch this around. Spread it out evenly. And back in the oven. At this point we're about an hour, maybe an hour and a half away. Butter's melted, you don't need to heat the pan up too much. Tablespoon of salt and add on a tablespoon of pepper and then let it sit for about 2 minutes. Then just saute it for another 2 minutes. Add it into your mix in the oven. So it's been 2 minutes. Salt and pepper. See a little bit of liquid starting to come out. Give it a quick stir. Mix everything in. Use my spatula. There's not much left behind. This is a really good non-stick pan. If you have a lot of browning, add down to liquid at this point. Just scrape your pan like so to get that off and in. But if you have a good non-stick pan, it'll just come in. So we'll give this another minute. I'll add it into the oven. Pro tip, wipe up quite a bit. Keep the plate underneath your spatula. But yeah, if you clean up as you go, the mess isn't so bad, and it wipes up really easily. So I sauteed for about another minute, added them into this, mixed it up, popped them in the oven for an hour, and I'll be back in a half hour just to start. We'll just let it all chill, the flavors all mingle. I'm not dyslexic, this is nothing futz, I swear to God. Okay, so an hour's gone by. Turn my oven up to 350. I've got my pan back on medium. I made a quick bechamel. This is a type of roux. This is 1/4 cup of flour or 2 ounces of white flour with 1/4 cup of milk, 2 ounces of milk. It's French, equal parts flour to milk. I figure this should be enough to suck it up. That. So what I'm going to do, so I'm giving this a quick stir. What I'm going to do, hold all the ingredients over to one side, keep as much of the liquid over here as possible. I want this to thicken up before I add the veggies in. So I dump most of that in. You don't have to get every little bit, it's not the end of the world. And whisk it in. At this point you want to bring this to a boil before you add in the rest of your veggies. So I'll kind of tilt it back and forth just to make sure that everything mixes fairly well. I don't want any lumps of flour in here. Over here, just to kind of blend this in. Everybody wants to become friends. At this point here, I'm going to add in a smidge of pickling spice, not much. So the stars were pretty picked over. I decided to go with the California mix. It's broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots, which is why I don't have any carrots in here. Otherwise, I would have added them at the beginning. If it's fresh broccoli and cauliflower you're using, I would put them in boiling water before I add them to this point, but frozen vegetables generally have been blanched. Dump in about a little over half of this bag. Quick saute. And we'll want to hit them with a little bit of salt. It's just going to help get that extra liquid out. So I would rather the liquid come out now and evaporate in the pan than after we add this in the oven, and just makes your sauce thinner. I'm okay.